It was a crisp autumn morning when Layla sat by the window, watching golden leaves swirl across the quiet street. To the world, she seemed ordinary, a devoted wife, a loving mother, and a woman who managed her household with quiet efficiency. But beneath that calm exterior, a storm brewed unseen. Her husband Farid was a man consumed by pride. A successful businessman, he believed that wealth and influence entitled him to control every aspect of life, including his marriage. For months, he had belittled Layla in private, mocking her ambitions and dismissing her opinions. Yet she had endured believing in the sanctity of family and hoping for a change that never came. One day, a minor disagreement over finances escalated. Farid accused Layla of mishandling money, turning the matter into a humiliating spectacle in front of his colleagues. The argument spiraled, ending with Farid announcing, "If you want your dignity, fight for it in court." Layla's friends urged her to confront him legally, warning that Farid's pride would never allow him to see reason. She hesitated, not out of fear, but out of hope that he might realize his wrongdoing. "Must we really make a courtroom the judge of our marriage?" she asked herself. But moral dilemmas often have a way of forcing action. Layla chose justice over silence. She filed for a formal review of their financial dealings and custody matters, knowing it would be a trial of patience, courage, and dignity. AC 2. Mistake, Teacher, and Trial, 1,200 to 1,500 words. The day of the trial arrived. Layla's heart pounded as she stepped into the grand courthouse, its marble floors echoing the whispers of countless stories of greed, betrayal, and justice. Farid, dressed immaculately, greeted her with a cold, triumphant smile. The proceedings began. Farid, with calculated charm, portrayed Layla as irresponsible, greedy, and unfit. Every word he spoke cut like a blade, turning the courtroom into a theatre of humiliation. Layla felt the weight of embarrassment, her cheeks burning as she clutched her notes, her voice trembling whenever she spoke. But amidst the turmoil, a wise presence emerged. The presiding judge, an elderly woman named Judge Samar, noticed the subtle injustice. With calm, measured words, she reminded Farid of the courtroom's purpose. "This is a place of truth, not pride. Remember that humiliation belongs to those who wield it, not those who endure it." Yet Farid continued, his arrogance blinding him. He underestimated Layla's resilience and the quiet support waiting outside the courtroom. Just as he prepared for what he thought would be the final blow, a woman entered. She walked slowly, her presence commanding respect without a single word. It was Layla's mother, Amina, a woman of unassuming strength, known in their town for her wisdom and fairness. The courtroom fell silent, whispers rippled through the gallery. Amina's gaze swept across the room, landing firmly on Farid. Without raising her voice, she spoke. "Do you think wealth and pride can silence truth?" Farid faltered. The confidence that had once filled his chest now shrank under the weight of Amina's quiet authority. Her words were simple, yet they carried the power of generations who had faced injustice with dignity. Layla watched in awe. Her mother began recounting the history of Farid's reckless decisions, how he had manipulated business partners, belittled employees, and now tried to undermine his wife's integrity. Each example revealed a pattern, a moral failure that no amount of charm could hide. As Amina spoke, the courtroom's atmosphere shifted. Farid's lawyer struggled to defend the indefensible. Layla realized that strength is not in retaliation, but in truth and courage. She spoke next, her voice steady, recounting her side with honesty, humility, and clarity. She did not attack. She presented facts, allowing the natural consequences of his actions to speak louder than any accusation she could make. By the time the judge prepared to deliberate, the courtroom had changed. The gallery that had once leaned forward in anticipation of scandal now sat in quiet reflection, moved by the undeniable evidence of character and moral reckoning. Act 3, Lesson Learned and Moral Conclusion, 700 to 900 words. The verdict was announced in favour of Layla. Custody, finances, and dignity were restored. Farid, humbled and exposed, left the courtroom in silence, the reality of his arrogance laid bare for all to see. Layla embraced her mother, gratitude filling her heart. She realized that sometimes the greatest strength lies not in fighting with fire, but in standing firm with truth and letting life's natural balance restore justice. In the following days, Farid attempted to reconcile, but the lesson had been learned. Layla, now confident and respected, extended forgiveness, not out of weakness, but out of understanding that karma has its own way of teaching lessons. Her friends marvelled at the transformation. The woman who had once doubted herself now carried herself with calm assurance. She understood the moral. Pride and cruelty bring downfall, while patience, honesty, and courage attract justice and respect. Layla later shared her story in a public forum, not to shame Farid, but to inspire others. Humiliation is temporary, but truth endures. Stand by what is right, even when it is difficult. Kindness, patience, and integrity will always outlast arrogance and greed. Her mother nodded beside her, adding softly, "Remember, my child, strength is not measured by how loudly you can shout, but by how steadfastly you can uphold the truth." And so, life returned to a quiet rhythm, but with a deeper understanding of justice, humility, and the power of moral courage. Layla's journey became a testament to the age-old truth. Selfishness may rise, but virtue always prevails. Moral statement, explicit 2 to 3 lines. Pride and cruelty may seem powerful, but truth and integrity have the final word. Stand firm in honesty, and life will restore balance in ways you never imagined.